What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you all are doing well. Let's get into it. Let's talk some big-time football, okay? The primetime game of the day. Thank you all for watching and taking some time out of your busy Saturday before this noon kickoff between the Buckeyes and the Hoosiers. I'm excited for it. This is one that, I quite frankly have been waiting for, I think, for about 3-4 weeks, and if I didn't have some family obligations right now, I would be at this game with some family and friends, okay? So that's kind of where we're at. We all kind of have our responsibilities. So let's get into it. I'm caffeinated. I don't even know what you call these, but we are ready to go. We are tuned up. I've been up since 5, crunching numbers, getting my last bets in for the weekend. I do want to tell you guys, I do make my bets a little bit earlier in the week. Right now, crazy times going in what else is going on. If you've noticed, I've been kind of a little bit slower on the content. So you forgive me, and I appreciate all you guys for giving me some time of your day to let me speak on this platform and give you guys my best bets, okay? So let's get into it. The first game that we, quite frankly have to watch today is that Ohio State and the Ohio State and the Indiana Hoosiers game, okay? And I want to share with you guys kind of what's going on. This is a noon kick on the East Coast, all right? But we are going to look into this at face value right now. We are going to use Outlier to do so, okay? This is where the Hoosiers plus 340 on the money line. We do have a 10.5 point number where they're getting. This number has dropped like a rock, okay? And unfortunately, if you were unsure on which way to bet this game, it is what it is, right? If you like the dog, if you like the dog and you think the number is going to move, you should really truthfully wait till the last minute, okay? But in this situation, everybody is taking the Hoosiers, right? 60% of the money line, and we do have, both the handle and the betting percentage on the Hoosiers, 67 and 64% respectively. All right, my favorite bet in this game, and I don't really care about the handle, this is an under spot for me, okay? I think that with what the Buckeyes have going on at center, the biggest thing going, this is going to be kind of a keep a quarterback upright. It's going to be a grinded out game. We look at some of the numbers here, and this is going to be very hard to apply matchup stats right now because of the fact that we do get some, ill-advised weather, okay? It's not going to be like that Browns-Steelers game, but we will get some ill-advised weather. The pads will be popping. It will be cold. And this is something where we talk about kind of what the Hoosiers are doing and the Ohio State defense being number one and Indiana's number one on offense and scoring. So kind of get the best of both worlds. Against common opponents, it's very, very likely. But you've noticed one thing is they've handled business in the same manner. However, the Buckeyes do allow less points to be scored. That's just simply put. Now, I think that we look at kind of the biggest knock on the Hoosiers coming into this game. Well, it is the fact that the strength of schedule isn't there. Now, I know a lot of people that are big on Indiana that don't quite frankly think that the strength of schedule matters, because if you truly are legit, that's just for, the newspapers, okay? It does not matter your what you've done, your track record, who you've beaten, who you've scheduled, who's on your schedule. That shit does not matter. If you are the truth, if you are the number 5 team in the country, then you should be able to take care. You should be able to show up today, despite who you've played in the first 5 weeks of the season, okay? And this is where you don't ever want to bet against a streak to end. The Hoosiers starting off the season 10-0, 8 games covering. ATS. They have been one of the darlings. They have been a cash cow for me, betting the Hoosiers. I never, we talk about it a little bit. You never want to bet against a streak to end. Well, this is a little different ball game, and we were able to, if you want to look at this game, earlier on in the week, guys, you were able to get almost 14. You could have bought a 14 if you wanted it, and that's kind of where I was headed, all right? But seeing that opening number at 14 really did give me pause, because it kind of brings up the whole argument. I just don't know how any odds maker would give 14 points to professional gamblers unless they did not respect the Buckeyes that much more than Indiana, okay? Especially with Ohio State being such a publicly bet team, and to see this number come down towards Indiana, this game smells from the heavens, okay? So that's kind of where I'm staying away from it. My best bet is on the under, though. I do like the under at 53. If you can find the 53 out there, great, take it. That's my favorite play of the day. I'm not going to complicate things. I already bet it, and if you guys want to know kind of where I would couple that with, well, if you do like an under, don't be scared to take some points, okay? So we've gotten the worst of the number, but, it's something where, for my money, it's best spent on the Indiana money line. This is where you can find kind of plus 330 right now. It's not crazy good, but it's not bad either, okay? I want to share with you guys kind of some things that go into this matchup, but we will look at some insights here. If a lot of people out there can't bet the props, okay? But this is something where Outliers really good, and it does find where you can find this, okay? The Buckeyes 6-2 in their last 8 games versus top 25 scoring defenses, okay? You look at the under, and 7 of the last 8 against top 25 scoring defenses, and that's kind of where we're at, okay? I personally think that this is a big number, but there's a lot of warranted respect that I think is due for the Buckeyes. For me, there's a couple things we have to talk about, and we will go full screen for this, but I will actually leave up some numbers here, actually, before we do that. Okay, so just so you guys can see this, I'll scroll down this, so follow along if you can, but as I talk. Now, this is kind of where we're looking to the opponents, right? Who was Indiana beaten? Okay, UCLA, no. Nebraska, no. Washington, no. Michigan State, no. Michigan, 20-15. That gives you pause. Now, Michigan is a good kind of criteria to compare what we're going to get today, all right? Now, the only thing that worries me about that is, did we get fool's gold, okay? Was Indiana really the 47-10 offense against Michigan State? And they kind of held some back in the chamber in what we've seen in kind of a look-ahead spot. I mean, it's crazy. You're looking ahead against Michigan to the high, like you're looking past Michigan for the Indiana Hoosiers, who have not been, one of the higher ranked teams out of the Big Ten. Okay, for me, it's pretty much simple. I think it was. Okay, I do like the Hoosiers in this spot. I just don't want to bet it because of the respect that the odds makers have given Ohio State with that opening number. Okay. There's no way in hell that you start this number off at 14 so that you get action on both sides, right? You get early money on Ohio State. You get the early pros on Indiana. And now we've seen this number drop. It's 10.5 in some markets. I mean, it would not shock me if we got the 9.5. It really wouldn't, closer to kickoff. But that's where I'm talking about betting early. That's why it's so important, okay? But that's kind of where we do look at these opponents, and you can kind of see the strength of schedule, strength of record. If we get to that, probably not here. But anyways, I'm going to go full screen for the next thing because I want to share with you guys kind of my thoughts in how it stacks up from a football perspective. Ohio State's down. Now they're starting center. 2 people on that starting offensive line will not be playing to add to their tackle. Indiana by the defense, it's okay. It's nothing that's going to, they're not going to pride themselves on, but I do think that when we look at this Hoosiers defense, they haven't played anybody, but it's still 7th, okay? And I think that those numbers are going to get adjusted, but a lot of those offenses can score, okay? So they're not necessarily good teams by the record, but they're good offenses, okay? They have played some good offenses and offenses that can pose a threat. Nothing like we're going to see from the skill position from Ohio State, but I do think that this is where we get in this argument. It's very hard not to take the Hoosiers here, but now we're getting the worst of the number. So I'm going to bet the under. That's kind of where I'm at. I look at kind of the Penn State game as well. It's going to be very similar to that. And Kirk Cignetti, I'm rooting for him. I know that there's a lot of Buckeye fans out there that are kind of depending on this game, but boy, wouldn't it be a story if the Hoosiers go undefeated within a first-year head coach, signing an extension, and then we have now kind of an ultra-motivated team that, historically, Ohio State has always dominated Indiana. So this is kind of like big brother, little brother, next door neighbor knocking on your door, and you're going to just, now you have, you've grown up a little bit. So we'll see what happens. This will be a fun one to watch. Like I said, guys, my best bet is the under 53. If I was going to get a little crazy in this, I can't bet props, college props where I'm at, but there are a lot of things that I do like. But the other thing that we will talk about is kind of, you have to kind of look into this narrative is how vulnerable is that Ohio State offensive line going to be, okay? And quite frankly, I don't really think it matters. I think that Ohio State will be able to find a way. I think that Ohio State's defense is as advertised, and and now they're really going to have to prove it on the field. So for me, this is kind of one of them bets where if you do want to take a side, God bless you. I would stay away from this with a 10-foot pole. And if you do win this game, the only way that you could say, I told you so, is if you were on the Buckeyes minus 14, minus 13. You bet them all the way down to 10, and you say, I knew all along that they were going to cover. But the way the lines are moving and the way the money's coming in, this is definitely one of those games where I'm going to sit back and just take a back seat, and hopefully we get a lower scoring affair. All right. But I would like to see Indiana. I hope they compete. I hope it's a good game. But this is a very strong play for me to the under. And like I said, guys, this is more so a PSA as a warning to stay away from the side. However, it's kind of works both ways. That's why I'm staying away. It's hard to take the points with Indiana, but now we're getting the worst of the number, and it's also hard. At minus 14, it kind of hit my Scooby sense. I knew that something. For the odds makers to open this number at 14 or 13.5 for the Buckeyes, begging people to take the Hoosiers. This is kind of setting up, and it's teed up to be an Ohio State blowout at home. And I think that's where the better in me is landing, although probably my head and my heart's probably going towards the Hoosiers. I would like to see them win. This would be a good spot for them to win. But I think the better in me is all in on the Buckeyes here. It's hard not to agree with the way that we've seen this kind of develop in terms of setting the number. They're not going to be off 4 points with a big, heavily bet top 5 matchup. Okay, they're not going to be off by 4 points, and that's what we're seeing here today. And that center is not worth 4 points, so a little bit too much shift for me. That's why I'm staying away. Wish you all the best of luck. Let me know down below in the comments. I want to get this comments board fired up. Buckeyes or Hoosiers, or do you agree with me with the under? That's kind of where we're at for this game with noon kickoff. Have fun, stay safe out there, and let's cash some tickets. Subscribe for more. Cheers.